Welcome to Cameron's Cyclocross Skills Episode 3, How to Dismount and Remount. This is one of the most used skills in CX and you will likely use it in every race. It can be used to get you out of trouble, before steps and run-ups, in sand and mud, and also for hurdles. Having your technique dialed will help see your cyclocross riding improve massively. So, technique. First off is the approach. Planning ahead is really important in cyclocross, as to preserve as much momentum as possible. So choose a gear that will be good for when you remount the bike after the obstacle. Have your hands on the hood so you can control your speed as you approach the obstacle. Unclip your right foot and swing it behind the bike. As you do this, transfer your right hand to the top tube or the down tube depending on how you're going to carry the bike. I will talk more about hand placement in a moment. Put your weight through this hand to take the weight off your left foot. Just before the obstacle, as your right foot comes around, unclip your left foot. Start the running motion and pick the bike up over the obstacle. It is best to dismount on the left side of the bike, as this is the non-drive side, and will make shouldering the bike easier. But there are some top pros like Kevin Powell and Michael Vanternout who dismount on the drive side, so don't worry about it too much. The closer you can dismount before the obstacle, the better, as you will minimise the time you spend on your feet. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become, and you'll be able to dismount 2 or 3 steps before the obstacle. Now for carrying the bike. For standard hurdles, you are best to lift the bike from the top tube. For anything where you are running for longer than a few seconds, you want to get your bike onto your shoulder. There are a few variations for picking the bike up. Find what works for you, as it can depend on frame size, arm length and strength, and also the type of dismount on the track. The most popular is by grabbing the bike by the down tube. This is the preferred choice of Mathieu van der Poel and Sven Nys. Next is by lifting under the top tube, which Wout van Aert and Corné van Kessel go for. Lastly is a less known technique, which is a subtle variation of the top tube pickup. Lars van der Haar picks the bike up from the top tube but with an overhand grip and then twists on the frame. As I say, find the one that works for you. Once you have picked up the bike, you can now either put your hand around the front or under the top tube and hold the bars to lock the bike in and keep it close to your body. People often say that their shoulder hurts when they run with the bike and ask the ways to avoid this. It will hurt less as you do it more often in training and racing, and the weight can be taken off the shoulder by holding the bike differently. But even for the pros, it will hurt by the end of the race. That's just how it is. So, now you've made it over the obstacle or through the unrideable section, it's time to put the bike down and remount. To put the bike down, just reverse how you picked up the bike by grabbing the top tube or the down tube, and put the bike down gently so not to ship the chain. Check your pedals are in the right position to remount. They should be roughly in line with the down tube, as that is how you left them when you dismounted the bike, but they may have moved or have been kicked, so just check where they are. Put your right hand back on the bars. Most people put their hand on the tops as it isn't as far away as the hoods. Now for the remount. The remount is just an accentuated step onto the saddle. To practice, stand next to your bike and take a step around the saddle onto your inner thigh and slide onto the saddle. Slowly work up the speed until you're running and the motion is fluid. Remember that it is less of a jump and more of a step. As your feet come back to the centre, feel for the pedals and start to ride away. Try not to worry about clipping in right away, as you will get better at this with practice, and getting back pedaling is more important. So, to recap, adjust your speed and gear appropriately for the dismount and remount. Have your hands on the hoods, swing your leg round the back of the bike, move your hand to the top tube or down tube, weight your hand while unclipping your other foot. As you start to run, lift the bike up, choose a shouldering technique that works for you, locking the bike in with your arm. Put your bike down gently and check the position of your cranks. Put your hands on the bars, remount onto the inside of your thigh, find your pedals and ride away. Dismounts and remounts are quite personal, and what works for one person might not work for another, but the important thing is to be smooth and fluid. So, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Cameron's Cyclocross Skills. Leave your suggestions below for what I can do next. Thanks.